Happy Monday, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us tonight on UpNorthLive Unscripted at 6:30. I am Maya Engel, and happy Monday, but also happy first full day of fall. Fall officially started, Trevor Robideau was just telling me yesterday at 8:44 in the morning, so today is the first 24 hours of fall, and it was a really nice way to kick off the season. It was sunny, blue skies, and a little cooler, but still not too cold.
Right, and I really enjoy the cooler temperatures, so I really liked today. And as you mentioned, it may not have looked like fall. It was still sunny as you would expect, a nice summer day, but we did get those cooler temperatures, so that was nice. And overall, a very nice day, and we'll hold on to those conditions for the majority of the week. But we do have one specific day this week with another chance to rain, and that's tomorrow. So we're seeing increasing clouds tonight. Still some cooler temperatures, and then we'll get some rain chances in the forecast for tomorrow. Nothing widespread like what we had on Sunday. We'll see less rain, but there is the chance of rain and maybe even a few embedded storms. So I'll talk about that in the main weather in just a few minutes.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, Trevor. And let's start off with one of our top stories of the day, something I'm sure most of you noticed as you were maybe driving to school or work this morning, and that is gas prices. Folks, here in Michigan, we are paying more at the pump with prices up 12 cents from a week ago. And here's a graphic of some of the prices all across Michigan in different counties. So on average, drivers are paying about $3.36 per gallon for unregular. That's according to AAA. Now, this price is 9 cents less than this time last month and 30 cents less than this time last year. But we were seeing a trend of declining prices for quite some time now. So it was a little jarring to see prices go back up. And just taking a look at this graphic, the lowest prices in northern Michigan on average looks like it's in Montmorency County at about $3.12, whereas the highest prices on average are in Mackinac County at about $3.50. So today I caught up with Patrick DeHaan. He is the head of petroleum analysis for Gas Buddy. And I just asked him, why are we seeing these increases? How long are we going to see this spike? And also I asked him our question of the day today, which we haven't told you about yet. We will after we talk with Patrick, but just so you know, just so you're prepared, it's do you think we'll see prices below $3 anytime soon? So here, let's check in with Patrick DeHaan now. So Patrick, drivers in Michigan are seeing a bit higher prices at the pump this week. We're seeing an average of about $3.35 here in Michigan. That's up about 12 cents from a week ago. Why are we seeing this price increase?
Well, Michigan is one of the few states in the Midwest and the Great Lakes that engage in what we call price cycling. It's kind of a roller coaster ride in which prices shoot way up. Then over about a week to 12 days, prices start to decline again. Then they shoot way back up and they go down. It's something that we've seen in more and more states in the last couple of years or so. Like I said, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio all saw prices going up significantly. Well, part of the reason is because prices move in a very organized way. Stations essentially undercut each other every day until there's no more room to undercut. Basically, when stations are selling at cost, that's when prices suddenly go back up. Basically, stations are raising their price to restore their profit margin from virtually nothing back up to about 35 or 40 cents. Now, what caused prices to go up so dramatically last week is not only that cycle, that price cycle, stations essentially ran out of room to lower their price. The problem is that wholesale price of gasoline had jumped about 20 cents a gallon. And so stations that were lowering prices suddenly lowered below their replacement cost. Some of that was because of BP's Whiting, Indiana refinery announcing it was going to start 45 days of maintenance. That's the largest refinery in the Great Lakes that can produce millions of gallons of gasoline every single day. So that's why the wholesale price went up. In addition, the price of oil jumped last week after the Federal Reserve cut interest rates by 0.5 percentage point. So don't worry too much. Prices are higher than they were earlier last week, but prices should now start trending lower in Michigan, kind of following that bottom cycle, the cycle that sees prices going down virtually every day. That'll probably go on for another 5 or so days at least. So prices should continue declining now after they jumped last week.
And so looking ahead into the later fall and winter months, what can we expect?
Well, overall, this price cycling repeats every 1 to 2 weeks where prices make a big jump up. But ultimately, if you were to look at a graph, you could slowly see that prices will trend lower. The increases should be to lower amounts and prices when they sell at cost, that'll also be a lower amount. So I do expect that we will start seeing more prices below $3 a gallon pop up through the last couple of months of the year. They may not always stay there. There may be some days where you'll see prices in the 270s or 280s. Then they may jump back up to 319 or 329. But you'll probably see more stations below $3 a gallon the later we get into fall, and that probably will stick around for most of the winter. It's very similar to what we saw last winter. There will be days when stations are below $3. There will be some days where stations go back above $3.
And our question of the day for this show was, do you think we'll see gas prices around $3 at all this year? So a lot of our viewers have been voting, but sounds like you said we should expect to see prices under $3 later on this year.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too hard to start seeing or finding stations that are below $3 a gallon, especially if you're using an app like Gaspity or Google or Waze. Already plenty of stations in Michigan below that $3 a gallon mark, even though prices did just jump up last week at most stations to $3.39 and $3.49. A lot of stations have already started going down. In fact, some stations in Traverse City today, just $3.12 a gallon, and prices will continue inching down here over this week. We did see a big decline in the wholesale price of gasoline today. That's good news because it will give stations more room to continue lowering prices. So just give it time. By the time we get to Halloween, into Thanksgiving and Christmas, it shouldn't be too hard to find those sub $3 prices.
Anything else you want to mention about this increase in prices we saw?
Like I said, it is temporary. Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio were all states that saw prices going up by over 10 cents a gallon last week. But like I said, it is temporary. You've all probably already noticed any station that went up last week has already started to slash their prices. That probably will continue for most of this week. So if you're looking at the fuel gauge, if you're running a little bit low, just wait a few days because prices will continue to go down through this week.
Thanks so much, Patrick, for taking some time to talk with me today. I appreciate it.
Sure. My pleasure.
And going off of that, let's turn things over to our question of the day, which we did talk about with Patrick. So do you think we will see gas prices under $3 a gallon anytime soon? 26% say yes, 74% say no. Hopefully now, after seeing the interview with Patrick, more people will vote yes, because it sounds like it's not too unrealistic that we will be seeing prices below $3. He said around maybe Halloween or Thanksgiving. But one thing I wish I would have asked him was where he saw gas prices at $3.12 in Traverse City, because I certainly did not see that today, and I would indeed like to go to that gas station to fill up my gas next time. So as a reminder, you can always scan the QR code that was on your screen. We'll put that up again a little later to vote on our question of the day. You can also leave a comment on this live stream on Facebook, YouTube, or X, and you can also leave a comment on our Facebook page. We have about 263 comments on this post with our question of the day. Don't have time to read all of them. A lot of them do have to do with the election, though. A lot of people are saying prices will be down until after the election. They want people to feel hopeful and forget that higher prices on everything are sinking families. Terry did say get gas prices down in lower Michigan, 309. I was just up north last week. It's very high up there. David said it went up last week. It's supposed to go down. They switched to the winter blend. So hopefully that interview with Patrick DeHaan kind of answered some of those questions. So again, that's our question of the day. You can scan that QR code on your screen right now to vote. And maybe I'll have some time to read more Facebook comments later. Don't have time to read. We now have 267. So don't have time to read all of those because we have another story to share with you. And it's that time of the year where some of the grapes are starting to harvest at local vineyards. And of course, northern Michigan is home to some of the best wineries in the entire state. And I'm not just saying that because I live here and because I am biased, but it's their proximity to large bodies of water plays a huge role in that, like Lake Michigan. So meteorologist Trevor Robideau, who you'll hear from again in a couple minutes for weather, he stopped by a vineyard in Leelanau County to see how this year's grapes are turning out and how the weather has played a role.
Last year saw one of the warmer and drier starts to the early fall and late summer season. Fast forward 1 year and not much has changed weather-wise. It is unusual, but wine farmers like Andrew Fless are open-minded to the change.
Perfect season. It seems that we never get that. There's always something that, every season here, and especially in a region like we're in northern Michigan, it can vary. So every season is a little bit different. We've been really blessed. The last 5, 6, 7 years, we've had a lot of really consistent growing seasons.
For most farmers, not enough rain can pose a problem, but Fless says grapes react differently.
You might be able to see a couple yellow leaves, and so the vines are showing drought stress at this point. They're starting to decide to drop a few leaves because they're perspiring too much water, and they want to minimize that, and so they're starting to drop some leaves. So that is a sign of stress, and a little bit of stress in wine grapes is okay.
Some would even say the best wine comes from very stressed grapes, but Fless believes the best wine needs a perfect balance.
So an ideal season would be one that we don't get too much moisture or too much humidity. We get just enough. And this season we've gone kind of back and forth. Early on it was a little bit wetter, and we really had to race to manage the growth here. And now it's drier, which is great because we don't have to worry about any negative effects of moisture.
It feels like every year is just chaos, and weather variability is bringing new challenges, but also new possibilities.
We would definitely look at, can a vine survive this variability in winter temperatures? So climate change is on our minds, certainly, I think. Can this variety thrive? Maybe there's a variety that we haven't typically grown in Michigan that could now start to become more reliable.
Craziness aside, this year looks like another great year for Northern Michigan wine. In Leelanau County, Trevor Robideau, UpNorthLive News.
And speaking of Trevor Robideau, he is filling in for Joe today, so we're going to check back in with him for more on your forecast for the rest of the week right after this quick break.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
Well, today is the first full day of fall with the season kicking off yesterday at 8:44 in the morning. And gosh, what a lovely way to start this season. It's dry, it's sunny, it's warm, but has a little bit of crisp air to feel. And Trevor Robideau, our meteorologist, did mention that although it's dry today, we may see some rain later on this week. So Trevor, when could we see that rain?
Well, that rain will be as soon as tomorrow. And we're already seeing the effects of that system that's going to give us some rain tomorrow, tonight, with some increase in cloud cover. It's been sunny all day. It's been a beautiful day, as you mentioned. The first full day of fall. You can't write it much better. It looked like, well, it didn't look like fall necessarily, but it certainly felt like fall. And I love that crisp fall air because we're getting right towards my favorite time of year now. I love the cooler temperatures. As people who know me know that I love those cooler temperatures. So I'm very excited. Here's a look outside Gaylord this evening. Still pretty sunny, but if you look to the south, that would be on the left side of the camera, you can see the increase in cloud cover. And that is the attachment of our next system that's going to impact us tomorrow. So all eyes, and obviously, is on our rain tomorrow. Everybody wants to know when it's going to rain. We do have some chances tomorrow. Mainly showers, a few storms are possible. There's what it looks like on radar. So you can see even over the last 3 hours, more and more of northern Michigan is starting to see this overhanging cloud cover that's going to impact us for the remainder of tonight. And there's what it looks like way down south, with much of the Ohio Valley and Central Plains, Missouri. That's right around where the low pressure is getting obviously some rain and cloud cover. That's going to move up rapidly northeastward towards us. So over the course of the next like 7 to 8 hours, we'll see mainly increasing cloud cover. By early tomorrow morning, you could see a few attaching showers on this system, mainly south. So I'm thinking around Cadillac, Houghton Lake, maybe even as far north as Traverse City. A few isolated showers in the morning, nothing crazy. It's later in the afternoon and especially the evening that we have the greatest chance for rain. And in the evening, if we do get any storms in the evening, is when we'll see those as well. And not everybody's going to get this rain. I don't think anything nearly as widespread as what we had yesterday, but there will be some rain around. So here's a look at the rainfall forecast. Not much. I think some areas that get those heavier downpours and some storms, you could see up to ½ an inch, but generally I think we're going to see a quarter or less, and I think the eastern arc will see our least chances for rain. Beyond that, we'll build in high pressure for the remainder of the week. Look at that. We'll get back into the red. And that means, you might think that means it's going to get overly warm, but actually that's not the case. It'll just stay dry over the next couple of days. So we'll go back to dry conditions. So the one day to look at outdoor conditions-wise is just tomorrow. Just be aware of some rain and maybe a few storms. Beyond that, nice dry weather. Tonight, late increase in clouds with light winds and a mostly clear and dry night. And then beyond that, obviously, scattered showers and storms. A few storms tomorrow, mainly in the afternoon and evening, accompanied by an east wind. And then there's the remainder of the week. A nice week, but still pretty dry.
All right, Trevor, thanks so much. We do need to take a quick commercial break, but in just a few minutes, we'll check in with our sports director, Harrison Beebe. It was a busy weekend for sports in Detroit and a busy Friday night for high school football, so stay with us. Sports is next. Well, as I mentioned before the break, it was a very exciting weekend for Detroit sports. But before we talk about that with our sports director, Harrison Beebe, let's take a look at some of the prep plays of the week for high school football.
It's time now to take a look at your prep plays of the week. You can vote at UpNorthLive.com, and we'll reveal the top choice during Up North Live News at 11. Start with Boyne City. Ryan Spate against Kingsley breaks several tackles and escapes a few more to help the Ramblers take an early lead against the Stags. Lake City taking on Manton. Check out Cole McGinnis. A huge run for the Trojan offense. I feel like the referee should get a shout out there for the effort on that touchdown run, although he is not a prep athlete. East Jordan at home taking on Charlevoix. Max Beal evading defenders as well as he makes his way to the end zone on a Friday evening. And our final nominee, McBain, Benjamin Rodenbaugh throws to Brett Ealing, who escapes a tackle, and he's going to check into the end zone as well. 4 great nominees this week, and you at home can determine the number 1 prep play of the week. Vote now at UpNorthLive.com.
And Harrison is joining us now live from our content center. Hey, Harrison, do you want to talk a little bit more about the prep plays, or should we get right into Detroit sports?
Really, Maya, both are good options on a Monday. That's what I like about the fall. Trevor was talking about the fall weather, and I think who doesn't love that fall crisp air when it eventually arrives? But I like the fall because you got football. But hey, what do you know? We might have playoff baseball to talk about in a week's time, which is something people in Michigan have not been able to say. And I don't want to jinx it, but it's been 10 years since we've been able to talk about the Tigers playing in the postseason. But if the season ended today, they would be in there. It should be an exciting stretch coming down the way here. They're off today, as well as the Royals and Twins. But the Tigers will play the Tampa Bay Rays for 3 at home, and then play the historically worst baseball team of all time, Chicago White Sox, for 3 straight. I'm not predicting a sweep there, but I think if there's a lot of drama going on and the Tigers don't pull a sweep of the worst baseball team of all time, that's going to upset a lot of people. So that's giving a lot of fans optimism going into the final home stretch here, because they're a game up on the Twins and they're tied with the Royals. So they might even avoid seeing the Houston Astros in the first round of the playoffs as well if things go the Tigers' way. And quick shout out, I know we're running out of time, but yes, the Detroit Lions did win in Arizona. A good bounce back win for them yesterday, and Lions 2-1 on the season. They'll host Monday Night Football a week from tonight.
Detroit sports are so fun again. We just got to get the Pistons involved sometime soon.
Nice.
All right, thanks so much, Harrison. We'll be right back after this break.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
Let's take another look at our question of the day. Do you think we'll see gas prices under $3 a gallon anytime soon? Now, this comes after we did see some higher gas prices compared to a week ago. It's up about 12 cents right now. But in case you missed it earlier, I spoke with Gas Buddy's Patrick DeHaan, and his message was, don't worry, things will slowly start to come down again. So looking at some of the comments we have for a question of the day on our Facebook post, we have 273 comments. I wish I had time to read them all. I will just read a few more. So Cheryl says Ludington area was below $3 recently. David said it went up last week. It's supposed to go down soon. A different David said, of course, just before the election. Nick says only if Trump gets elected. Michael says, I think so, at least until election is over. Let's see. Aaron says, I just came back from Maine and the station was 262 in the area I was in. Wow, that would be nice. I also saw another comment. I'm not sure where it went, but someone said, oh, I wish it could go back to 189 again. And gosh, I don't even remember when prices were below $2. I think that was before I even got my driver's license. But like I said, a lot of comments. So if you haven't voted on our question of the day yet, you can scan that QR code. And again, in case you missed my interview with Patrick DeHaan, he does say he is an analyst with Gas Buddy. He does say that prices should drop below $3, probably around Halloween or Thanksgiving time. But that'll do it tonight for Up North Live Unscripted at 6:30. Thanks so much for joining us, and we hope to see you back here tonight on Up North Live News at 11.
A quiet night tonight with some increasing clouds, and we will have some rain around in the forecast tomorrow. Beyond that, the week looks dry. I'll talk about that tonight at 11.
The Traverse City Horse Show is wrapping up another season in northern Michigan, how it went, the economic impact, and plans for next year. Plus, a new school playground is vandalized. The new security measures the district is considering tonight on Up North Live News at 11.
Quiet night tonight, but we will have some rain chances back in the forecast tomorrow. I'll talk about that tonight at 11.
Plus, the Traverse City Horse Show is wrapping up another season in northern Michigan, how it went, the economic impact, and plans for next year tonight at 11.